Part 35. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 341. Subai walked towards the second floor, wanting to see what the environment on the second floor was like. When the second, third, and fourth floors were being built, he specifically told them not to build up a wall. Then that wall will be installed with glass, so that a large floor-to-ceiling window will be completed. Tap tap tap. Subai came to the floor-to-ceiling window and nodded with satisfaction. Yes, the view is wide enough. Although it is a little blocked, it is generally good. Because there are also cement houses being built in other places, the second floor is just like them. The field of view is leveled. Woo, you can see the wooden house in the distance. Ying lay on the glass in surprise and looked at it. This was the first time for the fox-eared lady to see through the glass. Of course, glasses were not included. Moreover, she was still standing in a cement house to see things. All this was a bit too disturbing. It feels unrealistic anymore. The view from the third and fourth floors will be better, Subai said gently. He is still struggling on which floor he should sleep on. After all, there are many rooms on the third and fourth floors. He only uses the second floor as a place to work and meet people. Sleeping is not it will be on the second floor. There are also many rooms on the second floor. One is a study room, which will store a lot of books at that time, but it will take a while, and there are only 2 or 3 books for the time being. The other room is the lounge. If you are tired from working on the second floor, you can go to the lounge to take a rest. The other room is the kitchen, where the fox-eared girl has 3 meals a day. Apart from these 3 rooms, the most important one is the toilet. Of course, the toilet there is no squatting pit inside. Just a wooden barrel is placed inside, and then a dedicated person cleans it every day. If a toilet is not built, you will have to go downstairs so far to go to the toilet. Forget about the large size, what about the small size? Isn't this a waste of time? Of course, there is also a pit reserved in the toilet, just for when the tribe starts to be idle. Subai will have someone install a squat toilet in it. By the way, connect a pipe so that no one has to clean it every day. Are we sleeping on the third floor? Ying asked curiously. The third and fourth floors are fine, I haven't decided yet. Subai thought seriously for a moment and continued. Let's sleep on the fourth floor. The view is better. He originally thought that it would be too hot to sleep on the fourth floor. Under the direct sunlight, the fourth floor would be the hottest floor. But he thought that the rainy season was coming, and once the rainy season came, there would be no exposure to the scorching sun. After the rainy season, it is a buffer period for heavy ice and snow, which is probably autumn from the earth side. After the heavy ice and snow, it is even less likely to be as hot as summer, so the fourth floor is the best choice. Okay, let's sleep on the fourth floor. I'll prepare some hay for later. Ying nodded heavily. No need to sleep on hay anymore, you can sleep on something else. Subai doesn't want to sleep on hay anymore. It's uncomfortable and painful to sleep on, especially when the rainy season comes, the temperature will definitely be lower. If you still sleep on the hay, you will catch a cold, so he couldn't sleep anymore, so he asked Gumyu to make a bed. He missed the bed too much. If he hadn't had a pillow after traveling for so long, sleeping would have been even more uncomfortable. No sleep on hay? So what are you sleeping on? Ying blinked her pink eyes curiously, and then suddenly realized, I know, I'm going to sleep on the animal skin. Fox-eared lady also knows that the rainy season is coming, and she has to change her sleeping area. She used to sleep on animal skins. We no longer sleep on animal skins, we sleep on linen quilts, Subai said with a smile. No matter how you handle the animal skin, it will still have a fishy smell, and it is not very comfortable to cover. He was thinking of linen, which is more skin-friendly than animal skin. And it has no taste. Use linen. Ying suspected that she heard wrongly. Woo, this would require a lot of linen. What Fox Ear Lady is thinking about is trading with the people of the spotted deer tribe. If hemp is used as a quilt, this will be affected. Don't worry, Kinjian will have to wait until the rainy season is over before exchanging things this time. We still have extra linen to use, Subai said lightly. When Kinjian set out for the spotted deer tribe, the workers were still weaving linen. And during the rainy season of more than a month, the workers would also continue to weave linen, not to mention that they would also recruit some people are needed to help. The amount of linen woven by then will definitely not be the current amount, but will be doubled. It turns out that it will be very cold when there is heavy ice and snow. Woo, it is better to use animal skins to keep warm. Yuying is more worried about keeping warm. Although it is very comfortable to cover it with linen, it is not very warm. To really keep warm, you still need to have long hair to cover my animal skin. Don't worry about this. When the time comes, the linen quilt can be filled with some wool or the hair of other creatures, or it can be covered with a layer of animal skin, Subai said lightly. What he was thinking of was a 4-piece set of bed sheets, which is equivalent to stuffing wool and other things into the quilt cover to form a quilt core. After that, animal skins are used as sheets to put the quilt core in, so that a quilt becomes it's done. When it's not snowing, just a piece of linen is enough. When it's snowing, it's also convenient to add wool and other things. Woo, this method is feasible, but it will require a lot of linen. Yuying is still a little worried. Because if you want to make it according to the method of stuffing things in, you need 2 sides of linen of the same size, and then sew them together to form a bag. Don't worry, it's just what we use, not much, Subai said softly. Now he can only use most of the linen, and others can't use it. Being able to use animal skins is already very good. People in other tribes can only use hay. Okay, then the witch is going to teach me how to sew. Yuying shook her pink fox tail. I will teach you how to sew pillows when I get back tonight. This is also an artifact to ensure a good sleep, Subai nodded and said. Yuying tilted her cute head and said in a soft voice, are those pillows made by me as comfortable as the pillow that Wu sleeps on? Subai raised his thick eyebrows slightly and said deliberately, oh, how do you know that pillow is comfortable? He already knew that Fox Ear Girl had tried it because he found pink hair on it. Fox Ear Girl's hair is pink, and no one else has hair of this color, and it's also close to where he sleeps. There is no one else but her. Third update, please support and customize. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 342. Yuying immediately blushed and began to think about what she had done before, which was really embarrassing. When she first saw the pillow, her curiosity kept driving her to try it. From the moment her head rested on it, her whole body fell in love with the comfort of the pillow. She wondered how there could be such a comfortable thing, but she forced herself to get up quickly. I couldn't lie down any longer. It would be terrible if Wu came back after going to the toilet. Ever since she tried the comfort of that pillow, the fox-eared girl felt extremely uneasy. If nothing else, as a witch, how could she touch a witch's personal belongings without consent? This feeling has always made her suffer, and she felt that it was too embarrassing, so the fox-eared girl was very trembling in those days. Which, I did not do it on purpose. Yuying didn't know what to say at this time. She lowered her head and closed her eyes tightly, just waiting to be punished at this moment. Ha ha ha, when Subai saw fox-eared lady worried, how could she have the heart to punish her? What's more, he thinks it's nothing at all. If you want to sleep, just go to sleep. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, I don't mind at all, so there's no need to blame yourself, Subai said gently. Seeing the girl's pink eyes full of mist, he couldn't help but feel a little distressed. He didn't expect that the other party was so insecure. Or maybe it was that the rules of this primitive tribe were too ruthless, so that made them so scared. Yuying tried hard to hold back the tears that were about to fall, and raised her head and looked pitifully, really. The tip of the fox-eared girl's pretty nose is already red, and her pink eyes are full of water drops. She looks so cute. It makes people really want to hug me and love her. How could this happen? How could anyone be willing to feel sad for such a lovely person? Subai was no exception. He touched the other person's head with his hand and said in a gentle and jade-like voice, "It doesn't matter. From now on, you can touch my things if you want. You don't have to be so reserved at all." "Woo, I won't do it next time," Yu Ying promised immediately. After knowing that she would not be scolded, her expression was a little different. It was no longer pitiful, but a very serious look. Subai saw the other party's bulging face, and suddenly, "I really want to laugh, don't be too cute." "Woo, I will bake you delicious barbecue tonight." Yu Ying's pink fox ears stood straight up. "Come with me to see what's going on the avenue." Subai was really moved by the other party and his face was full of blood. Tap tap tap. After they went downstairs, they walked to the starting point of the avenue not far from the door, which had been paved for some time. "It's so wide. Is this a cement road? It must be very comfortable to walk on." Yu Ying's side. "The cement avenue is very spacious, and you can't even see the end when you look at it now, because it's still being laid, and it's just a little bit away from being finished. When the fence comes down, you can walk around on it," Subai said softly. "There are wooden fences around the cement avenue now to prevent those little kids from running up and trampling on it. If the cement is not dry, it will leave footprints, which will be very unsightly, even at the beginning. It has been paved there for a while, but for the sake of safety, it still needs more time to dry out. So far, no one has walked on the paved road." "Woo, why are there traces on it? Who stepped on it?" Yu Ying squatted on the ground and looked at the marks. "No, I asked them to do this deliberately so that the life of the avenue can be longer," Subai explained. "These seams on the avenue are to prevent objects from expanding due to thermal expansion and contraction in summer, so that the cement will not be squeezed and deformed after expansion. This is often the case on the earth, and there will be these marks on the avenue, that is in order to extend the service life." "Life? Is there still life in the avenue?" Yu Ying's eyes widened, and she quickly left the avenue in front of her. She kept blinking her eyes, and put her small hands behind her back to play with them unnaturally, as if she was looking at something strange. "What a treasure girl," Subai smiled. "It's not that the avenue is alive, it just means that it can be used for a longer time and is not easily damaged." "So that's it?" Yu Ying then relaxed and continued to ask, "But why is there a long path next to the avenue?" "Those are used for drainage, otherwise all the rainwater will fall into the soil and the land will become very muddy," Subai explained. "But without these, rainwater would still fall into the soil." Yu Ying is a little confused. "The avenue is not entirely covered with soil. It's always good to spread it out a little, otherwise all the rainwater will flow into the soil. Wouldn't it make it even muddier?" Subai asked back. In fact, he had also thought about this, but there was no way for the entire tribe to be paved with cement land. This was simply unrealistic, and the soil land was still somewhat useful. If all the soil land was paved, without cement, how would the entire tribe look different from a modern city? It's just not as developed. Subai doesn't want this. What he wants is for the tribe to have a modern feel and be green at the same time. He has, after thinking about it, in addition to paving some areas with crushed sand, the remaining dirt should be used to plant some trees. The tribe not only needs cement buildings and cement avenues, but also green. Living like this, it feels more comfortable when you stand up, and it feels more comfortable when you look at it, which is better than just looking at it and everything is gray. "I see." Yu Ying nodded and said. Subai stood up and waved to the cat-eared girl in the distance, and told her what she had just thought. "Of course, I didn't mention planting trees. The rainy season is coming soon, and even if you plant them, you will be wet by the rain. Die. We can only lay a layer of gravel around the avenue and the area near the wooden house. Recently, stones are needed to build cement houses, and the stones are not in regular shapes. So they need to be hammered into a suitable shape. There will be some gravels under this beating. Those gravels can be used to fill the soil. When the time comes, just lay sand on the ground and then put the gravels on it. Understood, I'll let someone else do it. Shalan thinks this method is great. Then there will be no need to walk on muddy roads. That way, not only will your feet be covered in mud, but it will also be easy to get stuck in them. Get them up to speed, Subai warned. Good. Shalan responded gently. Fourth update, please support and customize. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 343. Chapter 343, The Embarrassing Group of Four. One more request for customization. Since the rainy season is coming, the sun in the sky is not so hot anymore. Of course, it is not hot at all. If you continue to bask in the sun without any shade, it will make you very uncomfortable within an hour. Tap tap tap. At this moment, there were sounds of trampling on branches and the sound of walking through the bushes in the forest. Under the shadow of the trees, they are Kai, Ludo, and others from the giant bear tribe. This is the 8th day of their departure. But unfortunately, there were originally 6 of them, but now there are only 4 left, and the other 2 unfortunately died on the road. Because of the appearance of the ferocious beast, it was understood that although the other 2 people were also good in skills, they were not totem warriors after all. The remaining 4 people, Kai, Ludo, Lan, and Li, escaped, looking embarrassed. They were now desperate in the forest. If you persist a little longer, you might be able to see the tribe, Li said while suppressing the fatigue. Her long red hair was covered with leaves and resin, and her pretty face was also dirty. She no longer looked as pretty as before, and she only looked embarrassed. At this moment, she is also very tired. Although she is the strongest among the 4, she is not a totem warrior after all. She has been out for such a long time and encounters ferocious beasts frequently. She is already very powerful if she can persist until now. Sister Ali, we wouldn't have come if we had known earlier. Lanya looks very tired. The black bruises under his blue eyes tell it all. Even though he has short hair, it looks messy. The round face is also covered with resin. He originally had single eyelids, but now he looks like even more lethargic. You've come here, isn't this an experience? Li glanced around and continued, the chief chose us, which means that our strength is not bad, so we should be happy. Her ideas are still so clear and she can always find some reasonable reasons to convince everyone. That's what it is said, but we have been out for such a long time and still haven't found the tribe, Lan sighed. She was originally full of energy and now she is a little depressed, and she no longer scolds Ludo. In the beginning, she always mustered up the strength to scold him, but now she is too busy taking care of herself and has no time to respond. The other party. In fact, it's not that they didn't encounter tribes on the way. They met a small tribe with only more than 10 or 20 people. That can't be considered a tribe. The rainy season is coming, and the other party is not prepared for anything. It seems that not far from destruction. Keep working hard, I have a feeling we will find the tribe soon, Kai encouraged. Although he encouraged others, he had no confidence in his heart, and the fatigue on his face was even more obvious. All of them had lost a lot of weight visibly, and it is estimated that they will never be able to do it again after this time. Will he come out to practice? I really want to eat meat and have a good sleep. I am so tired. Ludo's originally round cheeks were also sunken a lot. He was originally chubby, but now he looks a lot thinner, and he walks very slowly. Kai put his hand on the other person's shoulder and said feebly, "We'll be there soon, just keep holding on." "Do you have the confidence to say this?" "I see you have no confidence." Luo Tan held his belly with his hands. It was still a little small at first, but now it looks much deflated. He originally believed in the other party, but the way the other party led was really bad. Until now, he hasn't found a suitable tribe and has been sleeping outside for so many days in a row. His mentality has long since collapsed. What's more, all he wants is a good night's sleep and a full meal, but now he has failed to do either. It's inevitable that I feel very unhappy. We can't let you lead the way this time, otherwise we won't be able to find a tribe to take shelter in when the rainy season arrives, Lan said seriously. Originally, everyone planned to go back to the tribe before the rainy season. Now, not only can't they go back, but they may not be able to find a place to hide when the rainy season comes. When the rainy season comes, the forest also it's very dangerous. There may be man-eating land, man-eating trees, etc. In short, during the rainy season, don't run into the depths of the forest easily, unless you are desperate. So even if you can't go back to the tribe, we must quickly find a tribe that can escape the rainy season, otherwise there will be only a dead end. Are you all blaming me now? Why didn't you lead the way in the beginning? Kai is also a little angry. He used to have a good temper, but because of this predicament now, everyone is impatient. And everyone is a little at a loss. At this moment, a little thing can become a trigger. I'm not blaming you, I'm just looking for a more suitable path. Li raised her hand and pressed it. If she hadn't been the oldest among the four and thought more, they might have quarreled long ago. She has also been suppressing her irritable mood and trying her best to adjust well and keep walking with hope, otherwise you will just continue to be trapped in the forest. We have already complained about you, so why wait until now? Wasting so many days. Lan is not a good-tempered person. Luo took a deep breath and said, I don't care who of you leads the way. I want to have a good sleep. Can we find the tribe quickly? Stop talking and just follow me quietly, Li Yang shouted, and if they didn't stop it, they would start arguing again. It was the first time that Kai and the others saw each other speaking loudly. They all closed their mouths and stood quietly beside them. The silence was terrifying for a while. The four of them looked at each other speechless, and the air seemed to have condensed. If it weren't for the sounds of insects and beasts around, or the rustle of leaves being blown by the wind, it would have felt like someone had pressed the pause button. Li sighed, blinked her red eyes, and said, Come with me, stop talking now, save some strength. The other three people just responded softly. Tap tap tap. Swish swish. The four people suddenly became silent and just continued to move forward in the forest quietly. Li lowered her head and observed the changes in the soil and the surrounding environment, trying to see if anyone was alive nearby from these details. The same goes for other people, they are not idle, they are also looking around, trying to see if anyone is passing by or something like that. Look, is this a footprint? Lan suddenly waved and shouted. She found that there was a footprint in front of her, but it was only half of it, so she wasn't very sure. Please update for support and customization. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 344. Chapter 344, It's not me who has the final say. 2 more requests for customization. Li heard the sound and ran over immediately. The presence of footprints means that there are people, and people have tribes, so they are considered saved. She lowered her head and looked at the footprints, frowning and said, This mark doesn't look very complete, but I can confirm that it is indeed a footprint. Great, that means someone is nearby. Luo's eyes that were about to close suddenly widened. Li reached out to touch the soil where the footprints were, and looked at them carefully. Well, this footprint was made not long ago. There were no traces of broken branches around it. Kai also found traces of broken branches around him. There was still tree sap in the wounds where the branches were broken, and it had not completely dried up, indicating that it was newly formed not long ago. What are we waiting for? Let's catch up quickly. There might be a tribe nearby, Lan said quickly. She couldn't wait any longer. She wanted to have a good rest, but she was already exhausted physically and mentally. Well, let's catch up quickly and pay attention to the surrounding environment. Although there are people nearby, don't be carelessly warned. After all, no one knows whether the right person will be easy to get along with or which tribe those people come from. If those people are wanderers, then even if they meet, it will be in vain, so we can't be happy too early for the time being. Got it? Tap tap tap. The four of them headed in the direction where there were footprints and there were broken branches around them. Sister Ellie, what do you think the person we will meet later is like? Lan asked curiously. Although she was eager to meet the tribe so that she could have a good rest, she was also worried that she would encounter bad people. You'll know it when you encounter it, don't worry, we'll run away if things go wrong, Lee said calmly. I'm here, don't worry. Kai said seriously. Lan rolled his eyes and said, you are not as strong as the two of us. You should protect yourself first. Kai was suddenly speechless. This is how girls talk, they always hit the point, leaving the other person speechless. Ha ha ha, let you ask for trouble. Luo laughed. This was a smile they had rarely seen in recent days. The atmosphere had always been tense. Shut up, he punched the opponent on the arm. Oh, Luo shrugged his shoulders with an innocent expression on his face. Tap tap tap. Everyone had been moving forward according to the details left behind for more than an hour, and then they discovered a curl of smoke not far away. Lee looked up at the sky and then at the smoke. Yes, it's already lunchtime. Gila gila. Speaking of lunch, everyone's stomachs began to rumble, and all four of them looked at each other. Should we go take a look? Kai suggested, but his voice sounded very unconfident. Luo swallowed hard and began to imagine that plump meat was roasting where the smoke was rising. He reached out his hand to wipe the saliva that was about to flow out, and kept wiping it. He nodded and said, let's go take a look. Well, go check it out, Lee nodded and took the lead. Tap tap tap. Rei led the other three people through the lush hollow woods to a place near where the smoke was surviving. They kept looking at the people near the fire pit through the cover of the trees, and found that there were 6 people in total. Sister Ellie, there are only 6 of them, and they all look like totem warriors, Lan said softly. Could they be homeless? Why are there only 6 people? Luo asked doubtfully. Lan rolled her eyes extremely hard and said, didn't you see that there were bags of dried meat next to them? Those homeless people have so much dried meat. The 6 people they saw were Kinjian and others. It had been some time since they left the spotted deer tribe. When they left, they exchanged dozens of bags of dried meat, which was the largest amount in the past few times. Once. Yes, they have a lot of dried meat. It would be great if they could give me a bite. Luo was almost drooling. What should we do now? Do you want to go up and ask? Kai asked with a frown. At this time, he had no idea. Lee blinked her red eyes, tucked her long hair behind her ears, and said, otherwise, what else can we do? They don't look like cruel people. They probably won't do anything to us. Yeah, go give it a try, Lan nodded repeatedly. The 4 of them left immediately, pushing aside the dense branches and walking out in the direction of Kinjian and others. Kinjian and the others had long known that someone around them was staring at them, and the distance was quite close. They didn't take it seriously. After all, they were so close and didn't know how to hide themselves. There was no one except the reserve warriors. The totem warriors would not make such a mistake, at least not so close, let alone was discovered. We are the preparatory warriors of the giant bear tribe, and we are here to practice, Lee said straightforwardly. People in the primitive era didn't say hello or hi when they met. They all spoke directly when they met. So why come to us? Qingyan also asked directly. Seeing that the four of them looked embarrassed, and coming out at this time, there must be something wrong. We have been out for several days, but we have not found any tribe. I don't know which tribe you belong to. Can you let us take a rest first? Li was quite polite when she said this. Although they are a big tribe, after all, they are the ones asking for help now. The pride of the big tribe must be put away now, otherwise it will offend them. I'm afraid we have to continue searching in the forest for a while. And the rainy season is only 2 days away. If we miss this group of people, it will be very dangerous for them in the forest. From the giant bear tribe. Do you come out to practice and then have no goals? Qingyan suddenly felt a little funny. Yes, but, Li's face suddenly turned red when she was asked this question. She was really ashamed we can't find the direction. Ha 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 ha, he is indeed a young man. Qingyan was amused by the other party. Sure enough, the young man was too naive. He didn't prepare anything and just came out to practice. So can we go to your tribe? Li raised her head and asked seriously. The rainy season is coming soon, and if we can't go to your tribe, then we probably won't. Lan suddenly thought of his other two teammates. Of course, Qingyan knew that it was not easy to go out to practice, and judging from the other party's expression, he must have sacrificed his teammates. He thought seriously for a while and said in a deep voice, whether I can let you go to our tribe or not is not my decision. Second update, please support and customize. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 345. Chapter 345, How come there is such a big wooden house? 3 more requests for customization. Li was stunned, not expecting this answer, and then adjusted her expression. Then can you take me to see your witch? Do you want to see our witch? Qingyan's eyebrows were slightly raised, but she didn't expect that the child in front of her was actually a bit interesting. They had already reached this point, but the other party still didn't look panicked. It seemed that his identity was not simple. Yes, I am the daughter of the chief of the giant bear tribe, and we can also cooperate with your tribe, Li said straightforwardly. Yes, I don't know what good things your tribe has, but as long as they are useful and abundant, our giant bear tribe will need them. Kai nodded repeatedly and continued to add, I am also the chief's son. Huh, Qingyan didn't expect that these people actually had identities. You are going to spend the rainy season in our tribe, right? There are only 2 days until the rainy season, so they just want to follow her to the tribe. It's obvious. Undoubtedly, I want to spend time in the tribe. Ji then left, otherwise he wouldn't be so eager to see Wu. Yes, we have no choice. We haven't met a tribe until now, otherwise we would have gone back long ago, so we can only spend the rainy season in your tribe. Li nodded and said. This is the only way to do this at this time, although it may not be better to spend the rainy season in other tribes than in your own tribe. By then, you will definitely not be able to sleep well or eat well, but it's better than wandering in the forest waiting to die, right? Luo didn't speak at all, but showed a longing look. Of course, that look fell on the dried meat. Qingyan thought for a long time and said, does your tribe have anything? After all, we are talking about cooperation, so you must know what the other tribe has. This is the core of cooperation. Our tribe has a lot of dried meat. If you need it, we can give you a lot of dried meat, Li said softly. Yes, as long as you let us get through the rainy season, we will repay you with dried meat, Kai hurriedly answered. The two of them were not fools. When they saw dozens of bags of dried meat around, they knew that this tribe must be short of dried meat. As long as they started in this area at this time, they would be able to accurately hit the opponent's point. I still say what I said, but I can take you to our tribe. As for the final result, It depends on you, Kinjian said seriously. He heard about things related to dried meat, and thought it would be better to go back and talk to the witch. After all, the other party is also a child from a big tribe, and maybe he can actually exchange things with that tribe. Of. Goodly knew what she said was useful. Green Eyes turned back to look at Frog and said, "Give these children some dried meat to eat." He had already seen the children swallowing their saliva. Although they were talking all the time, the sounds of a few others swallowing were particularly loud. Especially a little fat guy. If his reason hadn't told him, he might have pounced on him long ago. "Come up." Good Frog Sing nodded in response. When Ludo heard that there was something to eat, the saliva in his mouth became even more intense, and his blue eyes looked straight at it. Lee hid her face and shook her head. Unexpectedly, in the end, the big tribe face is lost here. Tap tap tap. More than half an hour later, Kinjian and the others had rested, and they also gave dried meat to Lee and the others. Everyone put the dried meat back on their backs and prepared to set off towards the tribe. They had to return to the tribe before the sun went down in the evening. Lee and others have been following closely behind them, and they feel very relieved at this time. As long as you can find a tribe to take shelter before the rainy season arrives, it will be good. You no longer have to worry about being scared outside. After this time, the four of them will probably never dare to run out to practice casually again, especially Kai, who had the strongest momentum at the beginning. More than 4 hours later, the sun began to slowly prepare to set. Because it is approaching the rainy season, it gets dark relatively early. It is now around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the surrounding light has begun to turn orange. Not to mention, the scene at this moment is quite beautiful, with orange and yellow everywhere. The dense forest with the orange sunset, and birds flying over from time to time, looks like an oil painting. Up ahead is our tribe. Kinjian stopped and moved his chin in the direction in front of him. Lee and the others looked in the direction and found that the tribe was not too small. Judging from the height and width of the wooden wall, it was probably a medium-sized tribe. But the question is, why is there such a huge wooden house at the entrance of the tribe? It is very large in length, width, and height. It does not look like a house where ordinary people live. There are rows of sheds on the other side. What is there for? Do you know what those two things are? Lan suddenly asked in a low voice. The short-haired girl was really curious. Is there really someone living outside the wooden wall? Their giant bear tribe does not have such a situation. No matter how large the population of the tribe is, it is impossible. Let people live outside. I don't know either, that one should be from their tribe. I have no idea. Ludo couldn't think of anything. He felt that since this was not a big tribe, it wouldn't be surprising if something would appear. There must be people living there, otherwise it would be impossible to build such a large wooden house, Kai said thoughtfully. After all, they are a big tribe. The wooden houses where the witches and chiefs live are not that big. The sudden appearance of such a big wooden house is really confusing. But it doesn't look very much like a wooden house. You see, the top is sealed with animal skins. How can a wooden house be like this? Lee analyzed. Lan blinked her blue eyes and guessed maybe this tribe doesn't have enough firewood. You are usually very smart, why are you so stupid here? Ludo doesn't want to say anything anymore. What did you say? If you are smart, tell me why, Lan said angrily. There is a large forest behind you. How can there be a saying that there is not enough firewood? Ludo said. Lan was speechless for a moment and just gave the other party a kick and said nothing more. Ludo scratched the place where he was kicked and muttered, I'm just telling the truth. There's no point in continuing to guess, just go in with them, maybe you'll find out, Lee said coldly. Sometimes after arguing for 100 times, it is better to take a look. The girl has always thought like this. That's right, this tribe is so strange, you must take a good look at it, Kai nodded and said. Third update, please support and customize. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 346. Chapter 346, it seems interesting. For more please customize. Tap tap tap. Under the leadership of Kinjian, the four lists began to walk into the tribe. As soon as they entered the tribe, they saw many people. This is what happens every time in the Yanlong tribe, as long as someone leaves the tribe for a period of time. Whether you go hunting or go to the spotted deer tribe to exchange things, there will definitely be someone from the tribe to welcome you when you come back. Of course, although this kind of welcome does not mean holding a ceremony, it is still looking forward to their return. Because Kinjian and the others brought back so much dried meat this time, everyone in the tribe was shocked. Everyone was staring straight at the dried meat, and some were even swallowing silently. These are the people of our tribe, we are the Yanlong tribe, Kinjian said first. Yanlong tribe, Li nodded thoughtfully. Have you heard of it? Kinjian asked. Li shook her head without hesitation and said, no, this is the first time we have heard of it. You two wait here while I go to see the witch and tell the witch about your situation, Qingyan said. Good, Li nodded and said with the other three people. Kinjian put down the dried meat on his body. Someone will do the next work. He walked straight towards Wu's wooden house. Tap tap tap. Kinjian came to the wooden house and walked in after getting permission. He said respectfully, Wu, I'm back. How are you recently? Subai put down the book in his hand, nodded and said, I'm fine this time. Thank you for your hard work. This time we brought back a lot of dried meat, twice as much as last time, all thanks to Wu's porcelain. Kinjian was very happy when he said this. The image of those people snatching porcelain suddenly appeared in his mind, and he felt very happy. You must know that in the past, when people from the Yanlong tribe went to Spotted Deer Market, they were either not treated well, or they were harassed. Maybe they were robbed. Even the amount of dried meat they got back was pitifully small, but now it has become the center of attention. Do it well so there is more jerky for the tribe. Subai nodded with satisfaction. Although he knew that those porcelains could be exchanged for some dried meat, he didn't expect them to be so popular. You must know that in primitive times, everyone was pursuing fullness and had no intention to look at porcelains. But now porcelain has become a hot thing, which shows that in this primitive era, the life of large tribes is far beyond his imagination. Since the first time porcelain became popular, Subai learned that most of them were replaced by people from some large tribes. From this, we know that the large tribes are not short of dried meat and have even begun to pursue a better life. This can be seen from their willingness to spend 2 bags of dried meat in exchange for 1 piece of porcelain. After coming out, Subai couldn't help but have a better idea in his heart. However, this idea will have to wait until the next spring, and it will definitely not be considered now. Yes, porcelain is really more popular than linen, Kinjian said with a smile. I thought that linen would be the most popular thing, but I didn't expect that it would be covered by porcelain. Except for the dried meat, have you replaced everything else? Subai asked. What he was talking about was salt and the materials for making witch dominoes. Recently, the materials for making witch dominoes have been exhausted. All the materials for making witch dominoes were replaced. This time, they were doubled. As for the salt, less than last time. Blue eyes. Why? Subai gritted his teeth and thought, and said, it seems that we have to be self-sufficient in salt, otherwise sooner or later we will have no salt to eat. Judging from the current situation of the Spotted Deer tribe, I'm afraid there won't even be any salt in the future. Wu, what should we do now? Can we produce our own salt? Kinjian asked curiously. Of course you can, but there's nothing you can do about it for the time being. but it will definitely be possible in the future, Subai said firmly. To make salt, you must know where the sea or salt mines are. Otherwise, you will not be able to make salt. But now that the rainy season is coming, it would be a bit awkward for people to go to the sea to find salt mines. Reality, so everything has to wait until after the rainy season. I see. Kinjian nodded and continued, which, there are 4 children in the tribe now. They say they are from the big tribe. Child? From the big tribe, Subai's thick eyebrows raised slightly. Yes, they said they came out to practice, but because they couldn't find the direction and got lost, they met us, so they want to see you, Qingyan said. They want to see me? Why the need to see me? Subai found it quite interesting. They said they wanted to spend the rainy season with our tribe, and if possible, would give us lots of dried meat in return. Qingyan wanted to laugh as he said that. The corners of Subai's mouth also rose and asked, did they say anything else? He also said that if we are short of dried meat, if our tribe has good things, we can exchange them with them. Qingyan continued. Oh? Did those kids really say that? Subai was a little surprised. Yes, he seems very confident and not lying, Kinjian said seriously. Subai nodded thoughtfully and said, arrange a place for them to live, and I will disappear. The witch doesn't see them, Kinjian said doubtfully. Well, there is still a long time before the rainy season ends, so we will talk about it then. Subai nodded lightly and said. I see. Kinjian nodded and said. Just give them 3 meals normally, and don't treat them badly. After all, they are children of a large tribe, and they may not be able to help in the future, Subai added. I understand. Qingyan turned around and left the wooden house. Tap tap tap. Subai picked up the water glass, took a sip of water, and murmured to himself, is it a big tribe? Interesting. 4th update, please support and customize. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 347. Chapter 347, Move. One more request for customization. Kinjian walked up to the 4 of them and said, we witches can let you stay, but our witches don't have time to see you. He also felt that the witch's approach was right. A tribal witch, how can I be seen by the little furry kids from other tribes casually? Thank you very much. Li looked happy. As long as she can stay and escape the rainy season, that's better than anything else. Otherwise, she would have risked her life if she came out to practice. So where do we live? Lan asked curiously. The girl was more curious about this question, and was worried about whether she would be arranged to a very bad place. But she glanced around the outside of the tribe and found that there were wooden houses all around, so it shouldn't be like that. Are they going to sleep in a tent? There will be a wooden house for the 4 of you to rest. During the rainy season, you should not move around randomly. If you have nothing to do, just stay in the wooden house. Kinjian looked serious and continued, by the way, someone will send you 3 meals a day. Good. Li nodded and felt a lot comforted. They lived well in the tribe before and the food was good. After all, they are the children of the chief, so the treatment is not bad. And they have never suffered hardship, so they still no one wants to worry about this aspect. No one wants to eat or sleep poorly. In the wild, this is fine, not to mention that now that they have come to other people's tribes, they naturally don't want to be like this. Kinjian said a few words briefly. He left after the first time. There are specialized people who will lead these people. Tap tap tap. After Kinjian left, he went back to his cabin. After all, he hadn't been back for a while. Among the crowd at this time, Yanhua and Shaylin were looking at the 4 people from the giant bear tribe. When Kinjian and the others came back, they followed the crowd to see how much dried meat they had gotten back this time. However, they discovered that there were 4 strangers following them. Upon closer inspection, they were about the same age as them. And judging from the fact that they were just preparatory warriors, At first I thought they were people from the spotted deer tribe, or maybe they were met on the road. But I heard that they were from a large tribe, and they came out to practice. Alan, did you see it? Those people are really brave. Yanhua pursed her lips and said. Don't talk about others. If someone hadn't stopped you, you would have gone out to practice. Shalan rolled her eyes and said. She still doesn't know the character of Niu Jiaonian. He is the same as those people. They are all adventurous by nature. Yanhua scratched the back of his head and muttered, do I have it? I won't do anything to worry about the tribe. But they are really courageous. The rainy season is coming, but they still dare to go out to practice. Shalan curled her lips and said. She would not be like this. She would wait until after the rainy season anyway, right? She would actually choose this time. Ignore them, let's go find the witch. Today we have to move everything into a cement house, Yanhua said with a smile. Today is the day when Subai will move into the cement house. Because the rainy season will come the day after tomorrow, he will have to live in it in these 2 days. Okay, I haven't seen a concrete house yet. Shalan nodded and said. In addition to finishing training, the cat-eared girl also had to see the paving of the cement road. Although it was said to have been paved the day before yesterday, she always went to see it again just to be on the safe side. Although it was said that only paving was done in the tribe. It's just a few avenues. But the workload is not small at all. In addition, gravel must be laid on the soil, which also needs to be looked at. Tap tap tap. The two of them walked to Wu's wooden house. Since they didn't need to say hello, they walked in directly. Wu, we are here, is there anything we can do for you? Yanhua was the first to speak. Subai was standing looking at the things being sorted out in the wooden house. He turned around and said, no, just let them move. Everything in the wooden house has almost been packed. In addition to the original few large boxes, there are also some materials for making witch dominoes. As well as wolf's tail paper, animal skins and other miscellaneous things. There are not many things, but they are relatively small. Miscellaneous. We will definitely have a lot of stuff by then too. Yanhua muttered, remembering the stone knives she had collected before. Of course, the one she uses most now is the saber given to her by the witch, and those stone knives are just lying around now. My mother and I were fine, we didn't have many things. Shalan said softly. Cat-eared girl and horned girl were also assigned a room. Of course, it was a room in the house in the central area. Originally they lived in their own wooden houses, but due to the construction of cement during the construction of the house, many wooden houses were demolished. Although Yanjiao and the others were allocated one, the rooms in that building were occupied by people with status in the tribes such as Kangxi and Qinjian. Therefore, Niujiao Niang would not be able to live there. It was inconvenient, so we let them live on the third floor of the central house. Have you packed your things? Subai asked, thinking that the girls didn't even pack their own things. Not yet, but soon. Yanhua said with a smile. Go pack it up quickly and move in together. Don't wait any longer. It's getting dark, Subai said. Good. Yanhua pulled the cat-eared girl and ran out of the wooden house in a hurry. They had lived in the tribe for a long time, and there were more and more strange things. Tap tap tap. I have a lot of stuff, and it would be very troublesome to pack it away. Yanhua doesn't want to deal with it anymore. Who told you not to clean it up earlier? I have already packed it up, Shalan said helplessly. It was the horn lady who just said it too fast. Didn't I expect it to be so soon? Then it's now. Yanhua smiled awkwardly. Okay, let me clean it up for you. Shalan sighed. If she doesn't help Niujiao Niang clean up, I'm afraid she may not be able to move there and sleep in it in the middle of the night. Great, Alan is the best. Yanhua grinned. Tap tap tap. Yanhua took the cat-eared girl to her wooden house. Shalan was dumbfounded when she first came in. Nothing else, but this wooden house is really, it's so messy, it doesn't look like a place for girls to live. Why is your room so messy? Shalan was shocked. Because, since I had to train every day, I didn't take care of myself. Yanhua made an excuse. Shalan narrowed his eyes slightly and glanced at the other party, and said, I think you will be fine after training. I often go to the witch's place. No, don't talk nonsense, I'm really too busy. Yanhua hurriedly lowered her head and started packing her things. She blushed so much that the cat-eared girl stopped teasing her and started packing her things too. Please update for support and customization. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 348. Chapter 348, Be more refined. 2 more please customize. As night falls, the weather is getting darker and darker, and Subai and the others have moved everything into the cement house. The beds, wardrobes, and desks made of ancient wood have also been moved in. It looks quite like a home. Subai stood at the floor-to-ceiling window on the 4th floor and looked outside, sighing. Finally moved in, a cement house. He has lived in tents and wooden houses since he traveled through time. How can such a house be as safe as a cement house? The scenery is so beautiful. Yu Ying looked at the scenery outside the window in amazement. There were dots of firelight everywhere. Since the tribe had fruit oil lamps, the tribe would place many fruit oil lamps on the roadside at night. The purpose is to make the tribe brighter, regardless of like before, it was all pitch black. Even when you go out to the toilet, you have to light a torch, otherwise it will be easy to break the dog and eat shit. Now there is a fruit oil lamp at the door of every tribal house, and then there is also a lamp at the door of the toilet. Put 2. Since there are a lot of this kind of fruit near the tribe, they are all picked in advance and the juice inside is squeezed out. Because the rainy season is coming soon, this kind of fruit will not bloom once the rainy season arrives. The result: the flowers and fruits will not bloom until after the heavy snow and ice passes, so Subai asked the tribesmen to prepare them in advance. This is a good thing. After all, it came in handy when dealing with the Black Snake tribe. It will be even more beautiful in the future, Subai said with a smile. He is not satisfied with the current situation. It must be brightly lit in every household. After all, it is inconvenient to light the lights. It would be great if every household could have a power supply. Woo, the stars in the sky are so beautiful. Yu Ying looked up at the stars in the sky. Those stars were reflected on the river in the distance, just like stars falling into the river, reflecting the sparkling appearance. Coupled with the little fires in the tribe, this scene, it looks like the time has passed peacefully. When the time comes, the stars in the sky will fall into the tribe. Subai told a white lie. Yu Ying's pink eyes widened and she asked in shock, Wu, is this true? Of course, when have I ever lied to you? Subai smiled. Of course, what he said was that every household in the tribe should have lights, so that when you look at the tribal lights, they are no different from the stars in the sky. Yu Ying nodded heavily, with a look of expectation on her face said, well, I believe in witchcraft. Wu, it's so big in here. Yanhua didn't stand in front of the glass to watch the night view, but walked around on the 4th floor. It was the first time that Niojiao Niang saw that the place she lived in could be so big and so high. Ha ha ha, Subai smiled and said, isn't it the same on your 3rd floor? How is it different from mine? The layout of the 3rd floor is the same as that of the 4th floor, with 4 rooms and 1 hall. The hall is located with a large floor-to-ceiling window facing the entire tribe. Standing in front of the glass window, you can still see the scenery in the distance. I don't know why, but I always feel that Wu is better here. Yanhua had an indescribable feeling. Subai raised his thick eyebrows slightly and said, maybe it's because of the layout. The 3rd floor will be just as good after you tidy it up. The decoration on the 4th floor may be better, because there are 2 long curtains hanging on the floor-to-ceiling windows. And these 2 curtains are very exquisite. Subai opened them from the system package. The overall pattern is 9 strips. The dragon is sitting on it, forming the appearance of 9 dragons playing with beads. The color of the curtains is golden yellow, which coincides with the size of the floor-to-ceiling windows, so it is particularly suitable to hang on it. In addition to the curtains, the second is the carpet, which is super. The large carpet is laid in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows. The wooden sofas and tables made of ancient wood are also placed on the carpet. The whole thing really looks like a home. In addition, some potted plants are also placed, of course. These potted plants are all flowers and plants around the forest. 4 fruit oil lamps are placed in the 4 corners, and the curtains of the floor-to-ceiling windows are not drawn up. The whole living room has the light of the fruit oil lamps combined with the light of the moon, which looks particularly beautiful. Bright. Not only that, there are also many tall and narrow small tables in the room, and some porcelain is placed on those tables. Of course, this is not only the case on the 4th floor, but also on the 3rd and 2nd floors. At that time a lot of curtains and carpets were opened continuously from the system. When Subai opened these things, he didn't know whether to be happy or sad for a moment. The frequency of those good things being opened was not high at all, but these things it's opened quite frequently. So that's it. Yanhua scratched her head in embarrassment. Come on, let's go to your place and have a look. Subai walked ahead first, wanting to see how the 3rd floor where the Niojiao Niangs lived was decorated. After all, the things on these floors were the same, and I was a little curious why Niojiao Niang was so surprised. Tap tap tap. When Subai arrived on the 3rd floor, he was dumbfounded. For no other reason, the 3rd floor looked in a mess. There were lots of things placed everywhere, the carpets were not laid, and the curtains were not hung. The surroundings were filled with things they had moved here, and the only ones placed in the whole room were the sofas and tables. None of you have tidied up, and of course it doesn't look as good as the ones on the 4th floor, Subai said helplessly. So that's it, then I'll take care of it right away. Yanhua nodded heavily and began to pull the cat-eared girl to clean up. An hour later, after their unremitting efforts, the 3rd floor finally looked good. Right, doesn't it look much better now? Subai asked back. He, it's indeed much better. Yanhua smiled awkwardly. She usually didn't have the habit of tidying up her room. So when she saw that the 3rd floor was different from the 4th floor, her first thought was not that they hadn't tidied up, but why it was different. You must be more diligent when you live here in the future. The room must be cleaned every day. You must not look at it like a pigsty, Subai warned. He also understands the mood of girls who don't clean up their rooms. After all, they have lived in primitive times for a long time and are not as refined as girls on the other side of the earth. So from now on, he requires girls to be more refined. Otherwise the appearance is so exquisite, but the room we live in is messy. Clear, Yanhua immediately responded. You have to really understand and don't want me to help you clean your room every day. Shalan covered her mouth and smiled. The cat-eared girl and the horned girl have a good relationship, so they often help each other clean up their rooms. Second update, please support and customize. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 349. Chapter 349, Can't sleep. Don't want to sleep. 3 more please customize. Early the next morning, Subai opened his eyes and was the first to sign in and open the aid package. Because you are in a separate room now and there is no fox-eared girl around, you can sign in and open it directly. But without the fox-eared lady, Subai didn't sleep well last night. He used to sleep alone. But after traveling through time and becoming a witch, there was an extra person in the tent, and he was an incredibly cute person. It was hard to avoid falling asleep at first, but over time I got used to it. Now I have to sleep alone again, so I can't get used to it for a while. Not to mention, when he closed his eyes last night, he tossed and turned for a long time. He was a little unaccustomed to being alone in the room. You'll get used to it gradually, and if it doesn't work anymore, let her come in and sleep, Subai suddenly thought in his heart, but then he shook his head, feeling that it was too fast. His thoughts shifted to the aid package. This time he got a cream cake, and it was a 3-pound mango-flavored cake. Not bad, I haven't had such sweets in a long time, Subai smiled with satisfaction. His favorite thing is mango-flavored food. He eats it a lot on the earth. It is naturally good to have mango-flavored cakes now. Knock knock knock. Woo, are you awake? Yu Ying's soft voice sounded outside the door. Subai's attention shifted from the cake to the door, nodded and said, "Come in." Crunch. Yu Ying opened the door and walked in. The dark circles under her eyes also meant that she didn't sleep well last night. Although she changed the bed and added a quilt, the fox-eared girl just couldn't sleep last night. How? You look very tired. You didn't get any rest last night, okay? Subai stood up and asked. He now sleeps in the pajamas provided by the system. There are 2 sets in total. It is very comfortable to wear them when sleeping. Yu Ying rubbed her eyes and muttered, "Yes, I didn't sleep last night. I know why, but I just can't sleep." Are you thinking about something? Or is the bed uncomfortable, keeping you awake?" Subai asked gently. Yu Ying shook her head vigorously and said, "No, no, no, the bed is very comfortable, but I don't know why, but I just can't sleep." The fox-eared lady actually didn't tell the truth. She knew better than anyone the reason why she couldn't sleep last night. It was just that she and Wu slept in the same space for a while, and suddenly they didn't sleep together. It was inevitable that she was a little sleepy. No, moreover, the fox-eared girl got up several times last night, secretly opened the door, walked to the door of Subai's room, and stood there stupidly. She even put her ear against the door, listening to what was going on inside, wanting to hear what the witch was doing now. She went back and forth like this 3 or 4 times. Later, she was really too sleepy and couldn't walk, so she didn't continue. Otherwise, she might have walked all night. "Oh? Aren't you thinking of me?" Subai said deliberately. Yu Ying's little face turned red immediately. She shook her head vigorously and said, "No, Wu, no." "Okay, I get it, didn't miss me." Subai pretended to be disappointed. "Ah, that's not the case, I thought," Yu Ying explained quickly, looking very anxious. "Ha ha ha, I'm just teasing you." Subai smiled heartily and continued, "When you are tired, just go on and take a nap. Don't be in a hurry." Seeing the tired look on the fox-eared girl's face, and her cute look that was so anxious just now, I really want to rub her into my arms. "It's okay, I'll make breakfast for Wu." Yu Ying swung her pink foxtail and ran out. In fact, there is another reason why the fox-eared lady didn't fall asleep last night, that is, it was the first time she had an independent room by herself. And it was still a cement house. Even sleeping so high on the 4th floor made her a little excited. Last night, apart from standing at Subai's door for a long time, she walked to the floor-to-ceiling window. She pressed her forehead against the glass, her pink eyes wide open, and looked staring at the world outside the glass. Her pink eyes flickered, and all the stars and fireflies seemed to fall in her eyes. It looked like a tranquil lake, with ripples appearing due to the falling stars. It looks so beautiful. "Take a break when you feel tired," Subai said gently. "Aha," Yu Ying replied without turning her head. Tap tap tap. There were sounds of footsteps. Subai had just changed into his casual clothes when he heard the voices of horned girls. "Wu, did you sleep well last night?" Yanhua had a smile on her face and looked very happy. "Wu, we shouldn't have come so early." Shalan was still a little reserved and looked apologetic. "It's okay, I'm already up." "Have you had breakfast?" Subai thought it was nothing. On the contrary, he hoped that these girls would come here every day so that his morning would not be too monotonous. No, Yanhua said without thinking, the smile on her face was still so bright. Shalan reached out and pulled the corner of Niojiao Niang's clothes, but was interrupted before she could finish her words. She originally wanted to say that she had already eaten and didn't want to spend some time at Wu's place for breakfast. This was too bad. Then let's eat together and let Xiao cook more, Subai said grandly. It's better to have breakfast with one more person than to have it with just one person. There are so many people and it's so lively, and he likes to be lively. Thank you. Wu Yanhua is still smiling happily. By the way, how did you sleep last night? Are you okay? Subai asked, wanting to know how the girls were sleeping. Yanhua nodded without hesitation and said, I slept very comfortably last night and fell asleep quickly. The horn girl fell asleep the fastest she had ever slept last night. The large bed and soft quilt were so comfortable. She turned around without worrying about falling asleep. It was different from sleeping on a small haystack before. But it's different. Me too, I slept very comfortably. Shalan responded softly. The cat-eared girl also had a brand new experience last night. The feeling of lying on it was completely different from sleeping on a haystack. Especially that pillow, it was so comfortable. Touching the back of the head felt as comfortable as soaking in warm water. Originally, I wanted to feel the feeling of getting out of bed, but not long after Shalan lay down, she yawned again and again. Her hands were contentedly pressed against the quilt, and her eyelids became heavier and heavier. And then fell into a sweet dreamland. As long as you sleep well, Xiao didn't sleep well last night. Subai smiled heartily. I thought it was because the people in the tribe were not used to pillows, but after listening to the horned girls, I realized that the fox-eared girls had other things on their minds last night. Xiao can't sleep, Yanhua's red eyes widened slightly. No way, that bed is so comfortable. Shalan was also a little confused. Third update, please support and customize. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 350. Chapter 350, the day before the rainy season arrives. 4 more, please customize. After Subai finished breakfast, he returned to the second floor to prepare for the rainy season tomorrow. He looked out the window and found that the weather outside was different, and the sun was no longer scorching in the sky. Of course, it's not an exaggeration to say that the weather will change immediately, but it's just a bit of dark clouds gathering. In fact, you can feel the wind being very strong. Even though you are on the second floor, you can still see the trees outside being lowered by the wind. Dust and leaves were still floating in the air, giving the overall impression that a storm was coming. Is this always the case before the rainy season? Subai asked. Yes, Wu, it's like this the day before the rainy season comes, but it will be even more different at night. Yu Ying nodded and said. In the past, she always hid in the wooden house and would not go out. Come on, come with me to go out and have a look. Subai wants to feel the weather outside. Yes, Yu Ying nodded, followed, and left the second floor. Tap tap tap. As soon as Subai went downstairs, they found that the wind was stronger than expected, and the wind and sand were even a bit confusing to the eyes. The position on the first floor is not occupied yet because no suitable people have been recruited to join the staff. All this must be planned slowly, and the selection of personnel cannot be taken casually. After all, it is a department of management. Yu Ying covered her eyes with her hands and whispered, Wu, it's such a strong wind, you have to be careful. Subai squinted his eyes slightly, nodded and asked, will the wind keep blowing? When it rains also like this? Only today I will shave all the time, after today it will be less frequent, and I will shave occasionally, Yu Ying shouted louder. Since the wind was relatively strong, she had to speak louder, otherwise it would be easy to be covered by the wind. I see. Subai nodded and looked around the tribe. He found that although the wind was very strong and there were many dark clouds in the sky, there were quite a few people in the tribe. Everyone was busy with their work, and they were not affected by the weather at all. Impact. Because more than a dozen concrete houses suddenly rose up in the tribe, the people of the tribe are still amazed. And those dozen concrete houses are very close to the one where Sudbai lives, with only a few steps between them. It's just a square. Behind more than a dozen concrete houses are those wooden houses. Those wooden houses look particularly small behind the cement houses. Woo, you haven't seen sheep or cows yet. Do you want to go and see them? Yu Ying used to go and see those sweet potatoes when she got up. But due to insomnia last night and getting up late today, she didn't go to see those sweet potatoes. Okay, Sudbai nodded and walked towards the entrance of the tribe first. Tap tap tap. 10 minutes later, Sudbai came to the place where the sheep and cattle were kept. He wanted to see how the guys you brought back from the hunting ground were doing. What? Moo. Although the sheep and cows were raised separately, they still shouted collectively when they saw Sudbai approaching. After all, it was Sudbai who domesticated them, and they still felt a little friendly when they saw it, so they started to scream. Meow. Gun Gun squatted on Sudbai's shoulder and started meowing when he heard the cows and sheep. What are you calling after? It's like you understand what I'm saying. Sudbai looked at Gun Gun with a smile. Meow. Gun Gun called out arrogantly, jumped off his shoulders and began to wander around the tribe. With his proud head and light steps, he seemed to be patrolling. Woo, they seem to have grown up. Yu Ying tilted her head and said. Well, he is a bit older, there are no natural enemies to hunt him down, and he does not exercise. He just eats and sleeps every day. How can he not gain weight? Sudbai said with a smile. But they will probably lose weight when the rainy season comes. Yu Ying shook her fox ears and said. Have you let them dry hay before? Sudbai asked. After drying, there are a lot of them, as much as half a wooden house. Yu Ying nodded heavily. Sudbai blinked his black eyes and said with satisfaction, that's good. When the rainy season comes, you don't have to eat hay. You can also cut some fresh ones nearby and feed them while they grow. Hay would be fine. Anyway, there is still heavy snow and ice during the rainy season. You can still see green plants everywhere, but you can't go too far. I see. Yu Ying nodded and said. By the way, let the tribesmen hurry up and go to the forest to cut more firewood today, Sudbai warned. Because once the rainy season comes, it will rain heavily, and many places will turn into a sea of Wanyang. And those trees will also be wet by the rain. If you don't stock up on some firewood in advance, the fire pit will be destroyed by then. There was no dry firewood. Almost all food in the tribe was cooked with fire, and heating was also needed. It was impossible without firewood. Although some preparations were made in advance, it was still not enough, so on the last day the tribe had to. Most of the people went to chop. Yes, Yu Ying nodded and said. By the way, let's have people drive these sheep and cows into the forest to have a big meal. There's no way to go out when the rainy season comes, Sudbai added. Good, Yu Ying said softly. Sudbai looked up at the sky and asked, have the animal skins been processed? Today is the last day. If you don't handle it well, it will be wasted. Animal skins must be processed, that is, tanned, otherwise they will not be stored for long. Everything has been taken care of and can be taken in today, so Wu doesn't have to worry, Yu Ying said. Okay, let's go take a look at the sweet potatoes. Today we can use the plant growth spell on them, Sudbai said softly. He does this every day, otherwise waste is also waste. Why not use it if it can speed up the growth of crops? Okay, Yu Ying followed happily. Fourth update, please support and customize.